In precautionary science of genetic engineering, it means one question means one career. You ask one question, you get the answer, and you might or might not be able to publish it, but that's the end of your career. What's, I think, very unique in my case is that I survived.
The attack on scientists is very well structured by the biotech industry. It's systematic, it's worldwide, it's very coordinated. It's part of the way that they do business. So anywhere in the world, at any time, if someone finds a problem, they're jumped on. And if the problem is really severe, they get jumped on even more whenever there's something that comes up that can threaten this biotechnology empire.
Companies exist to make money. They don't exist to entirely for the public good. They exist to give profit back to their shareholders.
Missouri. The greatest beneficiary of patented genes was the Monsanto Chemical Company with $4.5 billion profit in 2007. In its report to shareholders, Monsanto predicted these profits would double in the next 5 years to more than $9.5 billion.
Hi, is this Tom? Hi, Tom. This is Jeffrey Smith. You're one of the more than 24 farmers that gave him a call describing problems with pigs that couldn't get pregnant because of the GM corn. Is that right? So what I may do at another time, I'm on my cell phone now, but I might actually, after we talk a bit, I might actually email you and tell you exactly what I've written down about what we've talked about to make sure it's accurate. All right. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. So that was good news. He said that he was willing to talk. His cell phone was dying on the battery, and he said, first thing he said was, is my name going to be in the article you're writing? So I had to put him at ease and tell him no. If not, if he didn't want it to be in the article, it wouldn't be in there. That's why we don't have a lot of whistleblowers. The farmers are not interested. A lot of scientists are scared about it, and that's the whole state of the art right now, where almost all scientists focused on genetically engineered research are funded directly or indirectly by industry. So we're in a very dangerous situation because there's no real independent science. The biotech industry says all we're doing is adding a gene into the DNA. It's like a Lego where they snap it into place. But that's very untrue. When the single process of insertion can change the natural DNA in many ways that are unpredictable, and they can lead to toxins and allergens and new diseases and antibiotic-resistant diseases and nutritional problems. Most of the soy grown in the United States is Monsanto's Roundup Ready soybeans, where they take the soybeans and they put into the DNA a gene that allows the plant to be sprayed with Monsanto's Roundup herbicide. And it will kill all of the weeds around the plant, but the soybean plant will survive. So 86% of the soybeans in the United States are genetically engineered to withstand Monsanto's herbicide.
Miracle of science or Frankenstein food? How safe is the new ingredient in your diet? Professor Pushtay's lab is at Scotland's Rowett Institute, one of the leading food research centres in Europe. Scientists here are trying to find out whether long-term consumption of GM foods may affect health. The professor is so concerned about the implications of his discovery, he's decided to publicize his findings early.
As a scientist looking at it and actively working on the field, I find that it's very, very unfair to use our fellow citizens as guinea pigs. It was the first experiment because when we started in 1995, there was not a single publication on the potential or the real effects of genetically modified materials with any species, rats, mice, or humans, even though that the humans were already eating it. This is the same variety of potato, Desiree, that we used for genetic engineering in 1995. This is the particular potato variety which is one of the easiest to genetically engineer. And the point of the whole genetic modification experiment was to protect the potato against aphids, which are one of the major pests in Scotland. They attack the potato, the green parts of the potato. And we observed that that particular lectin which we used, which we took from the snowdrop bulbs, did protect the snowdrop bulbs against all sorts of pests attacks. And we had hoped that if we take that particular gene and transfer it, engineer it into the potatoes, that will also be protecting the potato against insect attacks, which in fact it did. After the animals were killed and dissected, we found out that in comparison with the non-genetically modified potatoes, their internal organs developed differently. Some of the internal organs, such as, for example, the gut, increased in size, even though that the rat itself was not growing as fast. Or some of the other tissues, for example, the liver or the kidneys, were not developing as well as the controls. And the conclusions were, and this is important, they found in those data 36 very highly significant differences between the GM-fed animals and the non-GM-fed animals.